Okay, now I am gonna get into this video, but before that, a quick shout out to, my friends. So, let's get into it. Okay, first person that I need you to subscribe to is the new Kaito Kashi. Now, I got I got his stuff done by a person, and he said thanks. So, you know, so I know I'm in. So I'm gonna need you to follow that shit. Second one is second one is this right here. He also does Roblox and well, actually, the new Kaito Kashi, he doesn't do Roblox. He does texting stories. But Angel X Demon, he does. So yeah. And now time to get into the actual what if. Okay, you know what to do. Start the music. Okay. Now, first off, okay. Now, Zuko had lived in Washington, D.C., in the hood, basically. He had gotten involved with street gangs, which the gangs was Crips, because, we mess with them. The reason he needed to affiliate himself with them is because he needed protection, just in case. Now, he was not a part of the gang, but he was involved. The way that he got involved was he became friends with one of them, which basically got him protection since, you don't mess with anybody's friends like that. That's in gangs. So, now, okay, the main story. Azuka was quirkless. Now, people made fun of him because of this. He would go, dang it, I can't read it. Okay, they made fun of him because he was, okay, now he would go around, get angry, basically. He would try to show people he was not worthless. So he investigated a case, which was kids going missing, being test subjects for this testing lab, trying to make unstoppable humans. Now, they bribed the police, the courts, so then they would ignore the crimes. He then investigated while a guard was busy. Now, I'm gonna say he was busy beating up a person that tried to get into the lab. My bad, I forgot to put it on loop. Now, basically, as I was saying, basically he was busy beating up a person that was trying to get in, and the guy wouldn't stop, which was a homeless guy, but he wasn't really afraid of, getting hurt because he needed the money, and plus he got hurt on a day-to-day basis. Now, where was I? Now, he found out they were testing what the first demon ever found on the earth. Now, this demon would be a high-class demon, not just any type of demon. The reason that it was coming to Earth was because a soul, which, if a soul becomes too aggravated, it can actually get trapped onto Earth, which this soul had made a deal with, the travel, and successfully he had summoned him, and in exchange he had to give up his soul, which it was his time to leave. So this demon was found and arrested of sorts. Now, I know what you're thinking. How would a demon get arrested? How would you get caught slipping? You must be asking. Well, pretty simple. People have quirks nowadays, which the demons never go to Earth. Like, they almost never go to Earth. So they thought the humans were still, like, working on technology, thinking that that was their main way to help the world. But of course, they didn't know that the humans evolved and got quirks. Because I'm gonna say, as soon as you got into hell, your quirk would disappear. Give me a second. My bad. I had some non-technical problems. So anyway, they experimented with the first demon ever made, and also just so the human would really be unstoppable, which they knew this was a demon because it had all the features that the first ever made Bible had described. And also it was kind of like immortal. And by that I mean All Might punched a hero directly towards him, which at that speed should have killed a normal human. But the demon got hit and he just got back up and shrugged it off. And even with the invulnerability quirk, that would have still somewhat hurt him, just the impact alone, because he still is human. Now, back to it. Now, they did use the power of Jesus. Now, they looked at the daily log that they kept, just in case something bad were to happen, or one of their test subjects were to come back to life. Because I'm gonna say they kept the test experiments, which they said this on data, so Azuka got this. They kept the test subjects inside of the lab for a few days to make sure that they didn't come back to life. Now back to this. Now, as they looked at the tape, the people of the lab, well, the two people, because there could only be two people that watched this security camera, and these were people of the head scientist's family, so they wouldn't really betray him or find this wrong since they were raised off of it. Now, only these two people were allowed to look at the tapes, and they saw him sneaking into the factory. Now, after they found out, they got the head scientists, then walked outside the lab, which he found this weird because he was just in the middle of a conversation. And then all of a sudden he touches Izuku on the shoulder, and then he says, "What?" He then gets punched in the face by the head scientist and knocked out. Now, the head scientist then ties up Izuku. Now, they then run tests on him, and these tests surprisingly had told them that he's an almost perfect test subject, an almost 100% test subject for this experiment, which of course he found weird because he didn't really work out much, and they said he was in perfect shape. He then remembers he did have to run for away from Lily's for a while until he got affiliated. Now, anyway, now they sent him below, which it's a state that the mind/soul, which humans don't know, but they think it's just the mind that goes down, but also the soul goes down. So the soul goes and the mind go together. Now Izuku looks around him and he's in hell. Now he's tortured all around, just brutally tortured. The demons just thought it was a human that got out of his eternal binds, which should be nearly impossible. but somehow he did. So they didn't just let him go or think he was some type of high class demon. No, they strung him up and started torturing him. Now, inside of hell, he burnt for millions of years. Time moves, I'm gonna say 1,000 times faster for hell. It's technically, I don't care if my math is off, bitch. You better fucking correct me. And if you correct me in your head, correct me in your head, but you better not bring that shit to my comments. So he's only been there about a day and a few hours. Well, maybe a day and a few hours. He doesn't really keep track because of being tortured. He's trying to focus on not dying, trying to stay awake. Which he doesn't know yet, but he can't die because he's only a soul slash mind. Which normally by now souls were to disappear and then be brought back to hell. Which would happen like basically they would be destroyed. It was kind of like your pretty faces going to hell. Their bodies could be destroyed. But after that, they would just basically respawn back there. And then they would go back and back and back and back and back and back and back. Just constantly torturing them. Now, when you're in hell, you absorb enough demonic energy to actually get powers. Now, people don't pay attention to this because they're also trying to stay alive. They're just focused on screaming. They don't really notice this. Now, the world basically gave off a bunch of demonic energy, and this power gives a normal human not the power of non-death, flight, super strength, super speed, and the power of hell, which is a secret because no one's ever gotten far enough to actually find it out. People never found out because they were too busy being tortured. Was not a need BTW. Sub to the new Kaito Kashi. And also sub to Demon X Angel. Because, you know, they my niggas. Okay. Back to the story, my nigga. He came back. But when he came back at first, he was non-responsive. The reason why is because his soul was healing. Not his physical body, but his soul. Now, like the others, they threw him away after a few days of keeping him in the factory. No, a couple of, I'm gonna say, since he was almost a 100% chance, they gave him a month. Which he stayed non-responsive. And at this point, he was starting to stink, which they thought he was decaying. But really, he was just not washing his body. Now, he wakes up on a island. Yeah, they dumped their bodies in the sea. Now, he gets up and he's confused until all of his memories start flooding back instead of pain and just all around misery. He remembers him screaming, them tearing off his flesh, tearing off parts of his body that shouldn't even be touched by anyone that he doesn't want to. He begged them to stop, but they never did. It got to the point that eventually he started to enjoy the pain. But then, just when he thought that he was okay, that everything was okay, it started to hurt again. Like the pain was increasing every single time he would get used to it. As these memories flooded back, he then says, I need to get back to Japan. Holding his side. Well, I'm gonna say that something impaled him inside the ocean, that's why. But as he holds up his hand, the blood isn't just regular red. The blood then starts to get hotter and hotter and hotter, which he notices until it starts burning. But he doesn't even flinch by this because he's been inside of hell so long that fire just relaxes him at this point. At least regular fire. They start off with regular fire. then blue fire, then hellfire. Hellfire is the worst. People say even if they tried to, they couldn't get over the pain. Ever. Now, he then walks towards the water and he tries to swim, which he can't. The reason why is because he has the blood of Jesus within him, which means the water instantly feels like the ground, which he's not used to his powers, so he doesn't know how to change his back. So he then says, I could have just made a boat. But looks like I'm walking there. It's better to walk there except for floating in a boat, because if there's a storm, I can't get out as fast. Now he then gets on top of the water and starts walking. Blood leaking from him. Now, this is where I'm going to leave it off. This was What If Deku Had the Tower. If you guys enjoyed, I think this could someday become a what if, a good what if, or think that, the next part that I make could and will be a good what if, then, hit the subscribe button and also hit the like button if you feel like it. Have a good day, and if this disappointed you and I basically made you wait for nothing, then I apologize, because I tried really hard on this. So have a good day and don't die. See you guys later.